In today's video, we're going to look at curves and how to use it in your animation, so stay tuned. Hey guys, my name is Eon and welcome to my Start Animating YouTube channel, the channel that is specifically aimed at everyone that is new to animation. And if that is you, welcome, you are at the right place. So make sure you hit that subscribe button and also click on that little notification bell so that you can get notified every week when I upload a brand new video. Now today we're going to look at curves and how it works, and I'm just going to give you a basic idea of how curves work and how you use it. Curves, majority of the time you will probably use it in 3D animation, but some 2D animation softwares also use it. And to be honest with you, a few weeks ago we did a video on or I was asked a question, what would I change with Cartoon Animator? And preparing for this video, I actually thought, you know what, I wish that Cartoon Animator can bring in the curve editor. They do have like settings, so slow in, slow out, accelerating, descending, all of that. So it's more presets, but you can't adjust it. Now a curve editor is where you can adjust the movements, and I'm just going to show you a rough concept of how it works, how you use it, so that you can use it inside your animations. So what I did here is I've got a ball. I'm using iClone 7 for this. But with all the 3D softwares, the principles will be the same. So you can apply these principles to whatever software you are using. So if I select here, you'll see here I've got my curve editor open. Now, if you use iClone 7 or earlier, or iClone 7, you probably will have to purchase this curve editor as a plugin separate, but I believe with iClone 8 it comes with iClone 8. So if you've got iClone 8, then you don't have to purchase it. So what will happen is if you want to move any object, whether it's a prop, like in my case it's a ball, or whether it is body parts, you want to animate your character, so you want his lower arm to move or his hand or whatever. When you select that object, obviously you've got the X axis, the Y axis, and the Z axis, and everything moves around that. Okay, so if I want to move it, so obviously I can take this red and I can, that is actually stretch, so let's undo. So I want to move it. Okay, so I can move it on the X axis, or if I can move it on the Y axis. Okay, so if I want to rotate it, exactly the same. So now I'm rotating it over the Y axis, red axis, etc. So let's just undo everything. So everything works around the X, Y, and Z axis. Okay, so I've got my ball selected and I've got my curve editor open. Okay, so now what I want to do is let's go to frame 50 and I move it. Now you'll see there is that red line is actually moving, and that is a curve. And you'll see it has a little bit of a curve there. So if I'm going to go back and I press play, it's going to have it is not a linear movement. So it does have a slow in and a slow out. Okay, so if I press play, there it moves. Okay, but now I can adjust this curve. So I can maybe make it a linear movement. So if I click on there, I can adjust it like so, and if I click there, I can adjust it. Okay, so now it is adjusting the Y angle, so I don't want that. So let's undo. Let's just select the X. Okay, and we click there and we make it like so. So now it as you can see, it's just a linear movement. So if I'm gonna press play now, it's just a linear movement. But now you can adjust it further. So let's say you want it when it stops it must move a little bit further and then back. So let's do that. So we can do that, but let's have it make sure it does have a bit of a slow start, and it speeds up and it damps at the end a little bit. Okay, so there you can see, but that dampening, it is too fast, so let's do that. That's better. So you can see you can now manipulate these how this ball moves on the x-axis. Okay, so you can let's do something else. Let's do squash and stretch. Okay, so this ball, obviously it moves, and then as it moves faster you want it to stretch, and then maybe when it stops it squashes. Okay, so let's do that. So now obviously we go to the scale, we go where it, probably here, we can add a keyframe. So let's add that. I think we want the scale, and let's squash it or stretch it a little bit. And then when it reaches maybe here, you can stretch it even further. And there, let's make it a little bit shorter again, like so. And then there, you want it to be squashed. Squashed, and it goes back. So now we've got a ball moving. It starts off slow, goes faster, and it damps and goes back. But now we've added some squash and stretch as well. So if we press play, it kind of looks like that. But as you can see, it starts stretching too early. Okay, so let's change that. That's a bit better. And maybe we can move this. Let's have a look. And this we can. So basically what you do is you can now just change this graph and smooth everything out. And then obviously you can also, the best way actually to practice this, because this takes practicing, you'll need to get yourself, wrap your mind around how this curve editor works. If you understand that it works on the X, Y, and Z axis, and then it works with curves to create how you want it to move on that axis. So once you can grasp that, you'll know how to use it. And the best way to practice this, because I think to get good at using the curve editor, is to practice as much as possible. The best way to practice this is to create the bouncing ball. Okay, because with the bouncing ball, obviously it's going to move on the x-axis, because it's going to bounce like that. It's going to move on the z-axis as well, because it's going to go from top down. And then obviously it's going to squash and stretch. So it stretches when it goes down, and when it hits the floor it squashes, and then it bounces as well. So you can really practice your how to use the curve editor with a bouncing ball. I think that is the best way to practice it, to make sure you understand how it works, and to get everything works smoothly. So guys, this is a rough idea of how squash and stretch works. Obviously you can see you've got your position on your X, Y, and Z. That is how we moved it. You also have rotation, so you can rotate it. So obviously if you rotate it, if you can adjust how it rotates, the speed. Does it rotate fast, or from slow to fast and then slow again? So you can adjust that. Obviously the scale, so you can do some squash and stretch as well. So that is basically a rough idea of how your curve editor works and how you use it inside your animation. So you do this obviously if you want to animate a character and you want his hand to move, you can maybe let it go slow and fast. Obviously you also can make it move in an arch, so it doesn't move linear. One of the principles of animation is arcs, so you want it to move in that way. So this is a great way to really polish your animations, but it does take some practicing and you need to work with it quite a lot to get good at it. So this is just a rough explanation of the curve editor, how it works, how you use it. So I hope this video was helpful. Let me know in the comments below. If you want to if you are serious about animation and you want to create your own animations, I compiled a list of software. It is absolutely free. These software, so it's a list of free software. It's not pirated copies, and it contains 2D animation software, 3D animation software, script writing, storyboarding, video editing, as well as audio recording and mixing software. So all the software that you need to create awesome looking animations. I compiled this list. If you want this list, in the description box below there's a link. Click there and I will email that list to you. So guys, that is it for me. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments. Make sure you hit that subscribe and also that like button. It really helps the algorithms, and that's one way you can support this YouTube channel. So from me, Ion, I will see you guys next week with another video. So God bless and happy animating.